What's up, everybody? It's me, Stevie, Super Smart Shibu, Super Smart Gorilla fan. Today I'm going to be talking about the unfortunate abandonment of ClearTech. So, let's get into this. So, just to start this off, in modern times, we have basic colors, white, black, gray, blue, usually boring, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think when it comes down to it, the world has lost its color and we should try to get it back, you know what I mean? For example, instead of just a basic blue, have a icy blue or ice blue, you know what I mean? Instead of having, say, a red, maybe you could have like red instead of, say gray, right? Instead of stuff being gray, have like a red or cherry red, really wonderful. But let's get into the technology, and that is gaming. Let's start with that first. So, gaming. Nintendo dominated in this space when it comes down to ClearTech. Whether it was the N64s or the Game Boys at the time, we saw many wonderful gaming consoles, and it was great. So starting off with the N64 line, you had like, jungle green, you had the orange that's right here, you had different ones as well, the fantastic colors, I believe they called it, yeah. And it was really cool, see-through consoles, you see the technology, and that's the thing too, overall, when it comes down to ClearTech, you see the technology put into it and how it's like well designed and all like how they do different than other ones. Say for example how N64 is set up compared to like a Game Boy or PS2 or phone. You see all the wilds, all the things going on in there. More like, for those who are really into the tech stuff, which this is more like that too. And I love it, I remember seeing computers back then and even laptops that had like the ClearTech, and it was really cool and interesting to see that design. Although it has faded away, it's one that I always stayed with me, you know what I mean? It was just so unique and wonderful. And then that makes me think, like for example, they had like house phones that had ClearTech, as you can see in the picture. Imagine, for example, I went to buy this phone that I'm recording on now, my latest phone, around December, of last year. And I was like, they had some colors finally, you know what I mean? Like last time I went shopping for a phone, they had, some colors here and there. And even some like, say, what was it called? Some, brands, besides brands, some versions of that brand, they really just do one or two colors, you know what I mean? So it's not really very colorful. Unfortunately, in modern times, life ain't that colorful, you know what I mean? For example, you have a video game console released, you'll get a controller at best, you know what I mean? The actual console itself, yeah, we ain't gonna see any of that stuff. Maybe they'll do one or a special edition based on a specific game or franchise, but then that's it, you know what I mean? For example, imagine Sony saying, here's the PS6 and it's like a neon red and or like a icy blue, and and it has like ClearTech icy blue PS6, or like a, say, OLED ClearTech fire orange, switch to, you know what I mean, Pro or whatever, it will be wonderful and cool. Also, I was thinking, Sony also makes phones, so imagine a Sony ClearTech phone with the PlayStation logo, just to be like, that would be wonderfully cool as well. Be like, yo, Sony being creative again. That would be great. Now, I feel like when it comes down to it, right, like, companies still somewhat are creative. We see Nintendo having like, they're somewhat, creative here and there still. They've been like that more than any other company out there. We see the many different art styles of like, say, the 3DS line, and then like some Switch consoles like the Eevee Pikachu and other ones as well. But they really didn't do anything relating to ClearTech, which is unfortunate and a missed opportunity. And I remember seeing like in game conventions, some people would take like some of these consoles. I remember PS4, PS5, and Nintendo Switch. They would take them and make ClearTech and different colors out of them, like custom made and stuff. So I feel like there's still a community out there for this stuff, me personally included, right? I would love to see if Nintendo came out with a Switch 2 Pro Controller or console, actual Joy-Cons and stuff, clear tech with like say neon or cherry red or something like that, or say like if we had like a cool, like say a specific laptop brand, name one, and then boom, a wonderful say neon green clear tech laptop. That would be really cool. Yeah. And, or just like a clear white, boom, just see everything and have like snow. Yeah. So after talking about all that stuff, I feel like when it comes down to clear tech, it was a wonderful thing from the past that I hope comes back. You know, it was wonderful and great. And, you know, I never knew why, you know, like I understand, you know, what was it, a part of its time and stuff like that, but something being clear tech and all, and different colors and stuff would really be wonderful if they brought that back, you know what I mean? But like I said, I feel like if any company's gonna do it, I feel like Nintendo would do it. They're more creative and stuff with things even nowadays, you know, although they're kind of shaky a little bit game-wise, you know. I expect them a new Star Fox game, for example, but hey, remakes, remasters, that's all they do. Here we are, you know, a clear tech. You know, clear tech, you know, Switch 2 would be wonderful. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you remember clear tech? Would you be interested in clear tech if it was around? Do you prefer clear tech than what we have nowadays? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, bye.